Welcome to Flesh Editorials for March 24th, 2012. I am Russell D. Longcore, owner and editor of Dump DC. Flash Editorials is presented by www.dumpdc.com. Dump DC is the world leader in secessionist thought. We show the world that secession is the only hope for personal liberty and property rights in America. Maybe I should put the microphone on, maybe it'd work better. Hey, how you doing? This is my first time doing this, so bear with me. Okay, here we go. Now, like I said, first time. From now on, I'm not going to do animation anymore. I'm just going to put me up here, and for better or worse, there it is. So here we go. Let's jump on the news like a priest on an altar boy. In the nation, Romney won Illinois and in Puerto Rico. Oh, by the way, I'm going to be reading this off of a script that's just below on the screen, so if I go up and down with my eyes, don't get freaked out. You know, I'm reading like all the other guys do, except I don't have a teleprompter. Anyway, here we go. Romney won Illinois and Puerto Rico. The yawn fest continues. And when I listened to National Public Radio on the way to work last Wednesday, they announced that Gingrich was a, quote, distant third. The truth is that Newt finished behind Ron Paul in fourth place. The media blackout of Ron Paul also continues. The Nation, Part 2. Remember the Emancipation Proclamation? Well, Lincoln freed the slaves in the South, which had already seceded, was a separate and sovereign nation at that time. Well, President Barry did an Emancipation Proclamation of his own on Thursday. He flew down to Oklahoma and said that he was going to free the southern portion of the XL pipeline project. Now, while he was walking around taking credit for the pipeline, he forgot to mention one thing, and that is this. The only portion of the XL pipeline that requires his signature is the northern section that crosses an international border. He vetoed that portion a few months back. Oops. The Nation, Part 3. Congressman Paul Ryan announced his new plan for reorganizing the federal budget. His budget would spend $5.3 trillion less than the Obama budget would over the next 10 years. Both Ryan and Obama think that it's perfectly okay to spend over $3 trillion a year into the future. And at least 40% of those budgets are borrowed money. But remember that both budgets are projections and hot, runny, steaming piles of bullshit. All politicians do these projections over 10 years, but they know that the only budget they can control is the current year. Ron Paul said that if he were the president, he would cut $1 trillion in spending in his first year. Folks, that's truth. Ryan is a lying piece of shit trying to make a name for himself. But I wish him massive success, because the faster Congress screws this country, the faster Washington and the dollar will collapse, and the faster secession will be able to happen here in North America. The Nation, Part 4. Our president / overseer / savior, otherwise known as a POS, Obama, cravenly told reporters on Saturday, "If I had a son, he would look like Trayvon Martin." Here's yet another high-tech lynching, but this time it'll be a Hispanic guy. And let me understand. Have any of you seen the photographs of George Zimmerman? Who out there is honest enough to say that this is a Hispanic male? Now, all I had to do this weekend was just look a little bit online and found out that his mother is from Peru and his father is a white guy. So he's 50% Hispanic, 50% white. Reminds me of somebody else that's 50% and 50%. Oh, that's Obama. He's 50% black, 50% white. So Zimmerman is exactly the same racial makeup as far as percentages go as our president, the POS. But these guys, oh, wait a minute. When asked about the shooting, Rick Santorum called it a heinous crime. Now, both of these guys are empty suits, and they're both lawyers, he and the POS, and they should know better. How about saving your comments until after a thorough investigation has been done, guys? Yeah, I understand. A 17-year-old boy has been shot to death. That's always a tragedy. But I don't know it was murder, and neither does anybody else right now except the police. And the police have had plenty of time to investigate this. I mean, the guy was there on the scene when the police arrived weeks ago. He presented himself and said, "Yes, I shot him." They had the chance to arrest him then and in subsequent days. The man has not been arrested, folks. There's a reason for this. George Zimmerman hasn't been charged with anything, but screaming crowds and talking heads and black activists do not constitute physical evidence of a crime. May the Sanford police allow their professionalism to prevail at a time in which the media and the masses have lost their minds. In international news, I find it implausible that Iran does not already have a nuclear weapons technology. They have had nuclear reactors for electricity since the Shah was in office back in the 70s and 80s. Maybe they don't already have a nuclear weapon built, but enriching radioactive material the old way produces plutonium. But there is an alternative. The liquid sodium thorium reactor is a technology that goes back to the 60s, and it's entirely safe. There is no radioactive waste products and no plutonium is produced. So my point is that the only reason any nation would continue to use uranium is that they want plutonium as part of the process. And ask yourself this: are there any nations that use nuclear reactors for electricity that do not also have nuclear weapons? Folks, that's not a coincidence. International news part 2. Soldiers from the West African nation Mali overthrew President Amadou Toumani Touré this week. The former president's whereabouts are not presently known. Touré came to power in 1991 when he seized power in a coup, overthrowing another guy who'd staged a coup in 1968. Apparently, what goes around comes around. International part 3. Portugal is next in line for a bailout. They need $12 billion in loans to avert default, and Spain's making the same kind of noises about default too. And Germany is expected to be the source of the bailouts. Man, I love this. The euro was a terrible idea back in 1999, and Europe is getting what it deserves. Nations that give up their sovereignty and monetary policy are just stupid. If the euro fails, maybe I should say when the euro fails, will any of the nations of the European Union have the good sense to issue currency backed by gold money? Don't hold your breath. But cheer up, everyone. China is going to wrestle control of the dollar as world reserve currency away from the United States. And their currency, China's currency, is going to be backed by gold. Go back to my last week about Tuesday or Wednesday, and you'll see an article there that's posted about China's secret plan. Go look at that. It'll be eye-opening for you. And now, let me get to our commercial message. Have you ever dreamed of owning a home-based business? It's a dream that's shared by millions of people who crave freedom from bosses, among other things. But it's much, much more than that. Today, I want you to concentrate on time freedom. You can always earn more money somehow, but you cannot earn more time. Most people trade their dollars for the time that they have, and then the time is gone, and they have a few dollars left to show for it. You spend your time foolishly, and it's gone forever. Long hours on the job steal time from you and your family. Did you get married and have kids just so you could bring home a paycheck but not spend time in your family's lives? Do you feel guilty when you miss important events because you have to work? You can take control of your life right now with the right kind of home business. To learn more about my energy business, go to www.masterpieceenergy.com. Now, when you get to the homepage, watch that opening video. It takes about a minute about lifestyle. Then, once that's done, look to the left for you, the left, and click on the link that says Defining Moments, and you can learn about a truly recession-proof business. That's www.masterpieceenergy.com. In business news, corporations in America are hoarding cash. The Wall Street Journal says that non-financial corporations in the S&P 500 are retaining more than $1.2 trillion in cash. Why? Number one, lack of predictability in the economy. Number two, the fecklessness of Washington, D.C. Also, number three, companies are anticipating and dreading and preparing how hard they're going to get hammered by Obamacare. DC got a question for you. Do you want to really revitalize the economy? Slash real spending this year. Lay off government workers, shrink government departments, dissolve entire programs, and stop quantitative easing, Fed, which is just another way of saying printing counterfeit money. In the economy, the number of actual new unemployment claims under state programs, unadjusted, totaled 315,616 in the week ending March 17th. That's down 24,441 from the week previous. Yet, once again, the Labor Department reported 348,000 new job claims. That number is higher than the real number by over 32,000. Can somebody out there tell me why DC would over-report the number of new claims? What kind of drooling morons do they have on their payroll at Labor? Perhaps some of the unemployed standing in unemployment lines could count better than the government employees. Just a thought. In sports, remember the nice things I said about the owner of the Indianapolis Colts and that he had some common sense by releasing Peyton Manning? Apparently, Pat Bowlen, the owner of the Denver Broncos, and Broncos executive John Elway are suffering from altitude sickness. Not enough oxygen is getting to their brains. The Broncos bought Manning for $96 million last week over 5 years and traded away Tim Tebow to the Jets. The rookie quarterback Tebow took Denver to the playoffs last year and put a lot of butts in the stadium seats. But I guess that wasn't good enough for his rookie year. So let me get this straight. You spend a lot of money to acquire a 36-year-old player, great as he was, that has had 4 neck surgeries in 2 years and represents the past. And then you trade away a 25-year-old spark plug that represents the future. This deal's going to work hard on Tim Tebow's Christian forgiveness, I promise you, and also the forgiveness of the Denver fans. Sports Part 2. Sean Payton, the head coach for the New Orleans Saints, has been suspended from coaching for a year for his role in the Saints bounty scandal that put price tags on opposing players. Somebody on the team actually paid cash bonuses to players that injured key players on other teams. That's thuggery. And NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell was right to suspend Peyton and some of his assistant coaches. Winning is not everything. And finally, in entertainment news, comedian Gallagher is retiring from performing after 32 years cracking wise and smashing big melons with a big hammer. Here's one from Gallagher. Why does it say on and off on a light switch? If it's on, you can see that it's on. And if it's off, you can't see to read. Oh, here's one more. How does a slut feel? Horrible. Get it? Horrible. Horrible. Get it? Man, even Rush Limbaugh would like that one. Maybe not. That's all for tonight. Thanks for watching. I am Russell D. Longcore. For all of us here at Dump DC, I guess that's just me. Good night and good luck. Namaste. Dump DC, 6 letters that can change history. Copyright 2012, Russell D. Longcore. Permission to reprint in whole or in part is gladly granted, providing full credit is given. See ya.